Breaking news at the BenBen Show. Really important stuff to get into. Sorry for the interruption. Longtime MLB player Ben Zobrist accused his pastor of carrying an extramarital affair with his wife and defrauding his own charity, proceeds of which came from his Major League Baseball career. You remember Ben Zobrist being the MVP, I think, the 2016 World Series with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Interesting guy. The pastor, Brian Yawn, is accused of sleeping with Ben's wife while he was operating as executive director, a self-appointed title of Ben's charity, and giving marital advice to the couple. Now, Ben is suing his pastor for $8 million. I think $3 million in damages and $5 in punitive damages. But I have to say, I don't know, and maybe you can help me. What does the pastor having sex with his wife have to do with his marital advice or his organizational work at the charity? Her sex choices, her choosing to have sex with the pastor, I don't think has anything to do with his ability to be a marriage counselor or to preside over Ben's funds that he earned as a baseball player for the sake of helping young prospects with faith-based questions and the such. I just don't see the correlation. If Ben's wife was sleeping with someone else and he was giving advice on how to save the marriage, what's the difference? If it was unknown to Ben at that time and she chose not to disclose it, is the only issue the failure of Byron to disclose that extramarital affair to Ben in front of his wife during those sessions? And doesn't he have sort of a patient confidentiality agreement with his wife not to disclose such a private matter? After all, it's her choice to decide who she wants to sleep with. So I think Ben's wrong in this case. I think his wife sleeping with the pastor really has nothing to do with the pastor's abilities to oversee and give advice on the relationship. When he told Ben to give his wife space, that absolutely has nothing to do with the fact that he was bonking Ben's wife. I think that was honest, true, and came from the pastor's heart or from God down to the pastor that, hey, Ben, your wife needs space right now. She's uncertain what she wants in this marriage going forward. Regardless of who she's currently sleeping with, the fact that she wants space is most important. And so relaying that fact to Ben as the pastor who happens to be bonking Ben's wife, I don't think is any violation or breach of fiduciary duty or patient confidentiality. I just don't see that. It's an interesting case for sure. I think Byron getting paid after he left or was fired from Ben's charity is interesting. Very, very interesting. $3,500 a month checks, still getting them despite being fired, cashing them. I think that's a legitimate case of, hey, maybe you shouldn't have done that. But I'm not certain that his bonking and pounding Ben's wife is really what the issue is. Because after all, her body, her choice, right? I think so. Fascinating story, though. I mean, if I were someone's pastor, I probably would not be a couple's pastor. Would be bonking or getting, blowies from the congregational member's wife and then offering marital advice just because of the dangers and the conflict of interest in that case. It's just such a thin red line. But in this circumstance, I can see that there doesn't seem to be any gross overreach. And apparently she really enjoyed the sex. So you have to be thinking, it's not just about the individual that is Ben, it's also about his wife. And then if you're actually presiding over the marriage as a unit, the extramarital affairs of any one individual has nothing to do with the advice as a pastor in that circumstance. So I think this criticism is completely overblown. I hope this lawsuit gets thrown out because the last thing I want is a bunch of congregational members to be suing pastors and reverends for sleeping with their wives while giving marital advice or what have you, or presiding over maybe their children's baseball games or a charity. I don't want that to happen. It's very hard to get laid as it is as a reverend or a pastor or a priest. You don't have a lot of options. So, I think this case will get thrown out, and good. Ben's a career 266 hitter with like 197 home runs. I don't think that much. I think like 167 home runs, 266 batting average. Has a lot of high, what they call kind of like quantitative metrics, like new baseball metrics, kind of like Moneyball, quant, that are like on-base percentage and stuff like that are positive. But I mean, he also had a red beard. I mean, she's really attractive. I just didn't see that lasting, and if it's just about the money, that she's better than that. She cares about, that pastor's very handsome. He doesn't have a red beard. Very, very, very attractive man. And it shows, as a positive to her character, that it's not all about money. Because the pastor fraudulently cashing $3,500 checks is kind of lowbrow fraud, And if she's all into that, she probably has a good heart and cares about the person. And Ben, I'm sure, is nice and means well, but, he's a little greedy at this lawsuit. $8 million? Where's the $8 million coming from? I imagine it's coming from his wife. You're going to sue a previous member of the charity? Is this just for show? The guy doesn't really have any money. So, I don't know. It's very odd. It's sad. It really is sad. When things get like this, it's just awful. Just awful. I wish the best for them both. I really do. But, oh.